Hello and welcome to ICANN Media. We are coming to you from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. We are just outside of Canada Place where a huge conference is going on called Globe 2014. I'm your host, Rob Hislop, and over the next couple of days we're going to be heading into the conference, taking in some of the many sessions and talking to some of the keynote speakers. Some of the topics discussed: changing energy landscapes and responsible resource management. Now, there are over 250 plus speakers, world leaders in their industry, talking here over the next 3 days. 50 plus countries are represented, and there are over 300 exhibitors at the trade show. We are going to give you a taste of what Globe 2014 has in store. Okay. Joining us now on ICANN Media is Gregor Robertson. Gregor, you're the mayor of Vancouver. This seems like a typical Vancouver day, is it?
It is. Spring is here. It's starting to warm up, and we're getting a little bit of spring rain.
Yeah. We're here at Globe 2014. You're one of the panelists up there talking about sustainable cities, basically, and becoming carbon neutral. Tell us a little bit about your point on that.
Well, Vancouver has a goal to eliminate our dependence on fossil fuels. By 2040 is the big long-term goal. By 2020, we have an aggressive target to make sure that all of the buildings built here are carbon neutral, and basically we're shifting into being a fully sustainable city. And we're seeing this trend in many cities around the world right now. We're part of the C40 network, which is about 70 of the biggest cities in the world that are focused on eliminating that dependence on fossil fuels, being more sustainable and livable, and ultimately building a green economy.
One of the things that you said is that it's difficult to get all levels of government on board.
It is a real challenge, and the federal governments generally have not taken action on climate change. We have direct impact here in Vancouver with sea level rise. Certainly we saw impact in Calgary and Alberta and Toronto with big floods in the last year. So they're very real impacts for cities. Financially, certainly in the Canadian cities right now, around the world, we're seeing some devastating, tragic impacts from extreme weather. So that's something that we have to deal with. We have to adapt to it, and we have to adjust our strategies and become more sustainable to stave off the deeper impacts that could have on our economy and our quality of life.
Well, tell us a little bit about your ideas of sustainability.
Well, sustainability ultimately is living in balance with the Earth, and we have one planet here. We have to carefully manage our resources for the long term. Right now in Vancouver, we're consuming 4 times what is sustainable, 4 planets worth of energy and materials for our lifestyle, and that can't go on. We're basically stealing from future generations for a very inefficient and wasteful lifestyle that we have today. So we have to adjust. This is the big challenge of our generation, just to use technology, to use a lifestyle change, and make sure that we are living within our means, that we're not stripping the world of all its resources in this generation, that we figure out how going forward we have sustainable use of resources and a great quality of life and a strong economy.
One of the topics here was talking about the social license and getting approval from the community. One of the things about politicians is that they tend not to be that forward thinking. You've seen it in debt, you've seen it now in the environment and that sort of thing. What you're saying makes sense, sounds good. How do you convince the people that this is something you can actually move ahead with?
Well, I think people are generally ahead of the curve on this, and unfortunately it's been governments and business leaders that are focused on the next election, are focused on quarterly statements and hitting profit targets that don't make the long-term decisions that are in the best interest of community or of our planet. So that has to change. And the impacts that are resulting from that lack of long-term vision are now very real. We're talking about billions of dollars of climate adaptation to keep the ocean out of our city. That's a very real cost and impact on our economy. So we're getting forced, whether we like it or not, to be more responsible and to think longer term. The real trick is if we're opportunistic with it, if we see this as a big economic opportunity, we're actually going to succeed a lot sooner and in a way that actually gives people jobs and prosperity.
Gregor, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We've been chatting with Gregor Robertson, the mayor of Vancouver.